the game, as you know, started off quite well. Good ball to Mimi that controls it. Does exactly what we've been working on training. Now, you tell me if this is not one of the greatest chants ever. And, no matter what we do, if we don't put this away, it's such a weak shot from Lindsay. And again, open goal. Could have been maybe a penalty, but chances like that, you probably get maybe once or twice a game. If we don't put them away, well, then we'll have a lot of regrets. Something we can improve upon. We got a free kick. Uh, Body language is quite bad. We're not reactive enough in populating spaces so that we can decide to attack centrally, right or left. Ball is played. Okay. Good ballistic ball. Now he traps it. And again, very bad habit. We've got no one. Again, all of this space. We got a 2v1 developing. And in this case, Dennis is by himself. Even though we worked on it last week, whatever we do is not being put into practice. Our first free kick, let's play it. All right, so this is pretty good. It's developing into the situation that I've highlighted many times. There are a lot of space here, and there's a free player that could make contact with the ball here or here, depending. The trick though is, you already know what happens during this free kick, but what I've noticed is that Grima comes into that space a little bit too early. So Grima, you should, or whoever is meant to take that free kick and is free, should stay there, stay put, wait until he starts running to the ball or the referee blows his whistle. Instead, what we've done is a bit silly. We've moved too early. We've moved too early. We've moved too early. I know it's still good because it's a shorter pass and you still got a lot of space. But the reality of the situation is that this run should be made when the referee blows the whistle and when whoever is taking it is already ready to deliver. So this is too static. Then what happens afterwards? Well, it's just a bad delivery. We need to ensure that these opportunities, okay, ball is up in the air, we can't control it, pretty bad, really wasted opportunity. An interesting situation happens after about 7 minutes. There's a throw in. So he's able to chest it down. And we do have enough players here to win the ball back. Must be said his control is pretty good. But watch how he goes through 3 players right in the middle of the park. And obviously he's got basically 2 targets. What I'm worried about here is obviously Aiden out of position. So you cannot see the player behind, but that's not going to be the problem. And on this side, we've also got some space. And our defense line is all over the places. Now, that is also due to the fact that Biscuit stepped up in the first place, but we are not tight enough. So, Jamil, a little bit closer. You should be here. And Aiden, never lose track of your of the winger. So again, it's 3v1, and the ball is played. This guy actually does a great job, plays a great first time ball behind the line, and within a few passes They end up 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and Wes, what a great save. So we were very, very lucky. A very silly one. Ball is played forward. Goalkeeper goes long. Watch. Okay. Pretty bad and embarrassing. Is this some sort of a waltz? You're about to dance together? Come on, boys. You can do better than this. Throw in for Western Suburbs. Look how quickly they take it. Okay, so right back losing the winger there. Pretty bad, Josh. You need to be a lot tighter, not lose track of the player that you're supposed to mark. That's your prime task. Again, that's your prime task. And instead, you can't keep up with it. Not even a real, doesn't even look like a real sprint, Josh. He gets away, ball across, and thankfully, Jamil puts his foot in it. Something that I need to show you, something that sometimes is not noticed. Look how they go through the center. That's all right. Now I want you to watch Grima in this case, what he does, right? So there's potentially a 2v1 developing on the right hand side. And this is what I would want my right or left mid to do every time. Watch Grima. Just keep watching him. He's already seen a potential danger. And this is actually pretty good. And he actually goes, Grima, into that slot and covers. If he had not made that run, it would have been there would have been some sort of overlapping 2v1 in that situation. And instead, by him making that move, now he can actually see what's happening, and it's the way it's meant to be. He goes and picks up on or puts pressure on the wide area, and it's just a cross coming in. So remember, this is what I'm expecting from the right and left mid. There's a long ball coming. Jamil heads it. We don't seem to put in much effort. But we win the ball. We give it away straight away. Lindsay, I'm expecting a lot better from you in the future. So ball goes up wide, and this is what I want to highlight. So in Biscuit, you got a player behind you, and Aiden as well. You've lost your marker now. Maybe it was close to an offside. I don't know. Maybe it's Josh keeping everyone on side. The end result is that the ball travels, and there's a free header. Now, Biscuit far too slow and Aiden out of position. We were, as you can see in this very first 15 minutes, Western Suburbs should have been up 1-0 or better at least, considering what we missed in the first 30 seconds, at least have equalized. Throw in for us, one of the many. We try our best. We lose 2 tackles, so it's Mimi and Dennis 2v2. We still not able to control the ball. They play the ball forward, and this is what I'm trying to get at. Look at that. So Jamil has the ball in his feet, as you can see. But look at the body language. Everyone is just standing. Now, Jamil can only pass it back to the keeper. Is that what you're expecting? Or could we, in this case, just drop and play? Jamil doesn't pass it to the goalkeeper. He wants to play. Still, we got players just standing, waiting for what? For a long ball to come. We are up against the wind. And again, you just got players standing. Players standing. Players standing. Just no one that goes and wants to play football. We're just still relying on these long balls. I can't get that bad habit out of you. I don't really know. Long ball, bang. And what happens? We give it back to the opposition. This is an interesting topic. Mimi is one of our most important players, and yes, it is good to play him as much as possible. But I think we are exaggerating a little bit, and you will understand that from the stats that I will show you at the end. Now, in this case, there's a throw in, Aiden. What is the best option here? A 2v1 here, or a simple throw in back to Dennis so that we can actually play some sort of football? I just I think sometimes we are very, very stubborn. We got to be careful not to burn players out as well. There are two consecutive throw-ins in the space of about a minute, and this is just my opinion. So they are about to take this throw-in, and I've got an interesting situation with Corey acting as an extra central defender, and I've had a chat to him about it. And so, Biscuit, the reality is that this is your job. Okay, you should be here. And Corey, in my opinion, should be either in your position or a little bit further up so that we can have enough central midfielders there to win the ball back. It's not the end of the world, but I'm a bit worried that we're taking advantage of Corey a little bit. So the throw in comes, rebounded. Lindsay, I think it's Lindsay, we can do better there. Right, ball comes again. Jamil steps out, and Corey again is sitting there acting as a central defender instead of actively participating here because Biscuit is very happy not to do much there. So these are the little things I'm spotting as well. Eventually we put in a tackle and there's another throw in. And again, Corey is instructing everyone. And again, watch this. Okay, this time again, Corey drops to pick up a player. I don't understand why the other central defender here, which is I think Jamil, doesn't do his job and allows Corey to operate as a central midfielder. I'm a bit worried about these little things. Let's not take advantage of people's goodwill. Okay, so you don't have to worry there in the middle of the park, but Corey is missing, and obviously they retain possession because we underload, or we should have Corey actively participating in such a small space. Think about these things as well, Corey. Also, just a reminder that we've been worried about the way we take corners, but also be careful the way we defend corners. We are not always going to be that lucky in the future. So someone was supposed to be marking someone. I don't know whether it's Corey or someone else, but this could have been another goal for Western Suburbs. Free kick for Western Suburbs. Ball comes. We recover the ball in the middle of the park as we should. Maybe a little bit too slow in releasing the ball there. I think it's Dennis. Dennis, of course, passes it to Mimi. Mimi wants to open up play in the wide areas on his right foot. Good. So we are developing something down our wide area in a 2v2 situation, as you can see. And we do find someone, which is great. So it could be a cross now, but obviously, as I said, there's no one in the box. There's one player coming, which I think it's Maxi. Oh, no, it's not Maxi. It's someone else. I think Maxi's here. Turns the player. Waits for players to populate the box. The ball is on his left foot. So a little touch, it could come in. And Lindsay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do have a bit of space there if you were to use your left foot. But again, we want to take the extra touch. We go backwards. And then we put in the cross in an area where there's basically no one. And they are very well positioned. I think this, in a way, sums up our offensive nature and our offensive ability. As you can see, we hardly ever get a shot on target. Throwing for us, and these are examples of good build-ups. We are in a very good moment of the first half where we are really dominating. There is a misunderstanding here, but right, Mimi wants to play standing. Mimi, you need to learn to actually make runs as well. But that's all right. So there's an error here. Ball is retrieved by Western Suburbs. We win it again. And Aiden had a pretty decent game, especially when it came to anticipation and interception of play. And you will see that from the stats. So it puts the ball through his legs. Excellent. We are at the local circus, but that's all right. It's working, so that's good. So we open up play on the wide area. Great. Great overlapping run by Maxi, who has time and space to attack the area as requested. And again, as per usual, unfortunately, our crosses are pointless and meaningless. It's cleared, but we are the better team on the park, so we retain possession. We try to get a shot on target. Nothing. And again, this sums up our offensive nature and inability to score goals. But the build-up is pretty good, as you can see. Towards the end of the first half, we play long. It's all right. We give it back to the opposition, but it was windy, all the excuses in the world. We contain the opposition, and this is what I'm getting at. And this is something that we discussed at halftime, Aiden. This is pretty bad. You are stepping out of the back four and you're allowing someone to really be played behind the lines, and it's very dangerous what you did here. Okay, this cannot happen. And Jamil, a little bit faster there, maybe a little bit faster there. Then it develops with some sort of good build up. We always want to play the ball long. That's all right. We can do that. Not a bad option. Well done, Grima. Nice ball. Good cross. Opportunity there for a nice volley. So much for wanting those crosses far post. Ball is coming. So we are doing what many of you like doing, but this is what we do. Instead of smashing it, we try to trap it. And obviously, yeah, you've got a 3v2 or 4v2 situation. And unfortunately, yeah, that way it becomes very difficult to score, and yeah, ball is cleared. That is again an example of what we create and how little we get out of it. Again, another reminder: we also need to ensure we defend corners properly. All right, very, very dangerous. Whoever it was it Corey again? Was it Wes coming up and not touching, not clearing the ball with his fist? Should have probably stayed on his line instead. Again, eventually these can be catastrophic. These type of issues. Another example of good build up where unfortunately we don't get much out of it because, in my opinion, we take the wrong approach. So Mimi puts her header in, we put the ball down, we somehow retain possession. Nice trick here by Lindsay. We've got the ball. Well done, Maxi. Stops. Maxi, you could have played the ball on the other side. The exercise that we did last week was to move the ball from one side of the pitch to the other, but that's all right. You turned around and you found Mimi. That's good. Now, Mimi from a standing position. Mimi has if he moves options down the wing or open options here. But again, we want to go and play some sort of long ball again, and he sees his friend Dennis, I think, coming, and yep, all right, the most difficult ever ball that we can play. We want to play it. Mimi, you had another one here, another options here with someone coming in, another one here, and another one there now. But you have to go for the most difficult one. And obviously, this is simply what happens. The ball is just cleared by the opposition. Sorry, I have to keep showing the same things, but we got a plan. But in this case, we don't sort of stick to it. So this is an opportunity to put our mid-block press into action, as you should. So we know the goalkeeper is about to play the ball. So Mimi sees that and it's good. Now that run should immediately come this way so that he cannot pass the ball back to the keeper. And on the opposite side, stepping up so that we shut out of the game the opportunity for the opposition to switch the ball. We are a little bit slow in doing that, and therefore Mimi makes that run. But because it's a straight run, and watch, everyone was in a pretty good position. So even if he had turned, there wasn't really much on. We would have most probably won the ball back, or they would have probably gone long. But this is my assumption. But instead, that way we allow them to switch, and obviously we have wasted an opportunity to win the ball back. Again, highlighting the same problem discussed earlier. I know Mimi is a point of reference, but we are exaggerating. Ball is always thrown to Mimi, and in most cases, it goes nowhere. So in the space of a minute, throw in, ball goes out. Now another throw in. Again, Aiden, same thing. Again, we look for Mimi. Mimi is standing in front of his marker. So if you really want to play the ball to Mimi, Mimi needs to make a concerted effort to get into some sort of space, not just pretend to always chest it down, because opposition have now worked that out. And on top of it, our delivery is shocking. And another example, so that's the third one in the space of 1 minute. We always look for Mimi again. Mimi standing and trying to control the ball from a standing position. Very difficult, very easy to mark. Flick with the outside of the foot, which Mimi needs to stop, and ball is lost. So in the space of a minute, had 3 throw-ins. Main target was always Mimi, and 3 times it went nowhere. It's not just Mimi, it's the fact that we insist and we are stubborn in always trying to do the same thing, which becomes repetitive and quite easy for the opposition to defend. Let's look now at probably the only opportunity created by Western Suburbs in the second half beside the stupid goal we conceded. Goal kick for Western Suburbs. We do not win the first ball. Corey, a little bit of a ball watcher there, but that's all right. So we concentrate on the second ball. We don't win the second ball, but Daniel Sergio has just come on and he's actually controlling a lot of loose balls in the middle of the park. Bit of a pity here again, Corey. I would say an error, a mistake, but that's all right. Daniel Sergio comes to the rescue and wins the ball again. And this is where I'm worried about. Now, Dennis, sorry, it looks like I'm picking on specific players, but you are playing a first touch ball to probably, I don't know, Mimi again, when you've got another player just cutting or covering the passing lane, and you are playing the ball in the middle into some sort of traffic in the middle of the park. Rule number 1 of any player is you do not play the ball in the middle of the park. You never do that unless you are 100% sure that the ball is not going to be intercepted by the opposition. This is suicidal because as you play the ball in there, if the ball is not properly controlled, opposition will break. Dennis, you are an experienced player, so that is something that I would expect you to know already. As the ball is sort of delivered in the middle of the park, very difficult. Mimi takes a touch, a little bit too long. Opposition puts in a nice tackle. we lose possession, and it's part of the stats that we will look at the end. So they quickly combine, and this Duanco guy that, as you all know, used to play for Hume, breaks through. We do not commit a foul, which is, well, maybe committing a foul here is better than chasing a player, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But anyway, he takes us into a good ride. It's 4v1, and he still goes, still goes. Someone needs to put in a tackle. Fortunately, he slips over, and then there's a shot on target, and very lucky not to concede a goal. Besides being worried about the way we defend corner kicks, I'm also a little bit worried about the way we defend from free kicks, especially this one is a perfect example late in the second half. We are again relying on Corey to do what, in this case, Josh should be doing. And as you play, you will see that there is a player here, Nuanco, that used to play for Hume, that has already punished us and will punish us in about 5 minutes, that is free. So I guess in this case, I would have had the way I would like to set up in the future is the following. Now, it is our wide midfielder that has to sit in a position so that he can intervene in the developing 1v1 situation. So Dennis or whoever, please, here, you're not doing anything. And we are relying instead on Corey to do what our right back should do, and we are missing a player here, Corey. We should be screening the back four and be ready for a possible development or for a short ball or for a rebound so that we can build. So as discussed before, we are getting spoiled by Corey dropping, but what I'm worried about is that Corey loses his player in this case, and so Corey had a good game, but in this case, it could have cost us dearly because to me, there was a misunderstanding between the right back and Corey, knowing that this player was also free. Not very organized, and I would expect you to take this into consideration for the next time. Luckily, it could have even been a penalty there with that hand, with a little bit of a push. Fortunately, the referee let play, but yeah, keep this in mind for the next time. A few seconds later, we are dominating. Corey makes a mistake, plays a ball down into the wide area to no one. Ball is kicked out, cleared by Western Suburbs. Jamil had a pretty good second half. We win the ball. Aiden is a technical player. We retain possession easily, so we play the ball long. Fine. Look at this. So well done, Dennis, for keeping the ball in. So much for what we discussed last week. But I believe some of you are very stubborn. We have a player here. So Dennis, you should be playing the ball there straight away. But instead, we want to do what we want to do, Dennis, again. And I'm getting a little bit fed up with these because I keep saying it. But you really like these 1960s English style type of crossing. And again, you got a free player. You are delaying it because you want to do everything yourself and you want to do things your own way. I'm not very happy at all with these. And he has to put in a cross at all costs, because as he often says, oh, I've seen someone in the far post, on the far post. Yeah, all right, do that again. Do it again. Try that again. And yeah, the ball is just going out. This is how we concede the goal. Unfortunately, there's no real drawn view from the top, but we can still see what happens. Grima just had a shot over the bar. We sort of try to implement our mid-block press. So we sort of do that. Mimi, again, you made that run. Instead of making it curved, you went straight, and now the guy can play the ball back. We are nowhere marking players in the middle of the park. We are being drawn to the ball rather than doing what our plan is, and eventually we get punished. So the ball is switched across. Watch carefully for what can be seen. Finds a player in the middle of the park. Yes, Corey could have been tighter on this player. He has time and space to turn. Again, should have been tighter on this player, but that's all right. Ball is played behind the line. Corey has him, but yeah, you know very well what happens. Lucky in a way, very narrow angle, and he punishes us. But again, it all started because our mid-block press was not well executed. Strangely enough, after a few minutes, a couple of minutes, there's a throw in. The goalkeeper, the Western Suburbs goalkeeper, picks it up, and we seem able. It's 1-0 now. We seem able to put into practice what we should have done. We now, strangely enough, quickly go back into some sort of formation, but already, what's interesting is that we are already pretty much set up. Probably by chance, everything seems ready the way we are, the way we've planned in order to recover the ball. So ball is played. Mimi still makes the effort to go, has it from behind. Good, excellent. And in fact, before you know it, we've got the ball. That's because when we stick to a plan and when we try to do the right thing, eventually we get something out of it. Unlike what I've shown you earlier on. Free kick for us. Aiden wants to take it. We got Daniel Sergio. What I don't understand is Daniel Sergio is a left footer, and we got Mimi being a right footer. Maybe I would have placed Mimi on the right hand side so that the ball could have been delivered to Mimi and would have placed instead Daniel Sergio here. But very strange things that happen. But Daniel Sergio makes that run, but he would have had it on his right foot, and he's a left footer. But Aiden does not release it. He wants to go long. Aiden is another one that likes to do what he wants to do. Okay, let's do that. Let's play this beautiful far post that everyone seems to enjoy so much. Bam! Right? We put it in the middle there. No one touches it. Eventually, again, ball goes out. Another example of how static we are when it comes to our ball combination in the attacking third. There's a long ball coming. We clear it. Ball is lost. We press. Now look at this. Daniel Sergio comes. Daniel Sergio hasn't got that many options. He's a left footer. Mimi. Again, he will pass the ball to you, but if you make an effort to just move, that pass will be so much easier for Daniel Sergio to execute. But if you stand as you are standing there and you're pretending the ball to be played to your feet, this is what eventually happens very often. Yeah, misunderstanding between the two players, but obviously you got to move, go into space so that the ball can be played into space and combination can take place. I always have to show you the same thing, but at least this time we are looking at the way we are attacking, and we've done a lot of it, especially in the second half. We have really been dominating the game. Decent combination. Maybe holding it a little bit too much there, but that's all right. We keep it. To me, Mimi, the option that you take, a square ball, it's the most difficult one when you have two better options there on an angle, but you actually this time get away with it. It's a square ball across, very dangerous. Two players could have intercepted it, but we still retain possession, so we got away with it. Daniel Sergio plays the ball around. Decent combination. Yeah, Maxi moved the ball a little bit faster. Not many options there. Dennis made that run, but Dennis, you made a run behind two of their players. So he plays it back. Not a great ball, but Daniel Sergio again wins the ball back. Nice combination here. 1, 2, 3. And again, we should be now, if he, which is Maxi, is given the ball in the wide area, we know that, well, we want to get to the byline so that we can actually cut it back or put a cross in or do something, get something out of these. And we don't have many players now really attacking the box. We've only got one. And this is, again, I keep telling you, there's no point in crossing the ball if there are no players in the middle of the box. And that's exactly what happens. Look at the amount of time that Maxi has in the wide area, and look how slow we are in getting people in the middle of the box. No one, no one, no one, no one. The same player that was there 10 seconds ago, and eventually, of course, it's not a great cross, and the ball goes out. All of these combination and great work that was done for about a minute is wasted this way against an opposition that we should have hammered 5-0. And as discussed in our chat, we talked about the following. So there's a certain criteria that I follow when I watch games, and I watch games 2-3 times, and I look at uh, errors, but not only errors. So in this case, the errors are divided into these categories that you can see yourself. Don't have to read it out. You've seen it. It's in the chat. But at the same time, I also calculate the opposite. I checked at the opposite, and mainly that is the amount of times we win the ball back. So when we look at this stuff, we got to take it with a grain of salt. So this is the first half, and you can see the amount of, let's say, unforced errors, again, based on this criteria. And we see uh, who are the players that have, let's say, given away the ball more often than ever. But uh, it must also be considered that someone like Biscuit in the first half, because of the win, had to clear the ball many times, and that obviously pumps up his values as someone that has wasted the ball or ball possession quite a lot of times. Aiden had a pretty good game, as you can see, and I'll tell you what this green line means. But still, very often, due to bad passes, he is also quite high. And Dennis and Mimi, I think it was already highlighted throughout the video analysis. I don't have to go on about it. Uh, Looking instead at the positives, these are the amount of times that players have actually won the ball or made a concerted effort to position themselves in a situation where they could recover the ball, whether it was through interception, anticipation, or heading the ball, or in any way something that gave us possession of the ball. Very often, these then is wasted by a following action. There's actually quite a few for Daniel Sergio in the second half. Very often, he won the ball, and then because of a bad pass, he won the ball as you see 8 times, but gave it away 7 times and so on. So again, take it with a grain of salt. Second half values are a lot higher due to players' fatigue. This is the total that you can see. Unfortunately for some of the players, this is, you watch the numbers here with the top three, top four, and if you look at the values and you compare them to last week, strangely enough, statistical analysis never lies. People hate statistical analysis, but top three are the same top three players from last week. So there is a constant value that obviously I'm not too sure I can rectify due to players wanting to do things their own way. And it must be considered that we are also dealing with players that are of a certain age. And once you reach your 30s, it's very difficult for you to change your habits. All in all, you see the greens. So obviously we can say that Aiden had a pretty good game in terms of the amount of times he's recovered the ball. Jamil, to me, was one of the better players in the middle of the on the park in the second half. A lot of spectators actually said that to me. Uh, very strange game because of the wind, but yeah, take these values into consideration for your own reference and in order for you to think that you can probably improve on your performance.